My name is Michael Evans, and I would like to welcome you to this evening's discussion on Let's Talk About It, where we discuss a topic that affects the Black community economically. This is a bi-weekly discussion that we have, and I'm going to start off by our standard disclaimer, which reads that the information presented today is strictly for educational purposes only. We strongly encourage you to consult with licensed financial advisors, attorneys, or tax professionals before making any significant financial investments. And although I have decades of business experience, I am not licensed or registered with any regulatory authority. And the next thing that we want to do is get a quick 2 minute video of an overview of what we're going to be covering tonight, which is Autonomous AI Agents 101.
All right, CPIN members, let's talk about the future of your operations. This explainer is for you.
Okay, first things first. We're talking about infrastructure here, not just hype. This is foundational.
For starters, it automates all those repetitive tasks. This frees up your team for more strategic work.
It also directly boosts your bottom line by handling work that would otherwise require new hires. This means you can grow your business and handle way more volume, but without the huge cost increases.
Okay, so you get the benefits, but what is this technology really? Let's cover the basics.
At its core, AI is just software that learns from data to make smart predictions.
An AI agent takes that a step further. It's basically a digital worker doing tasks for you.
And here's the game changer, autonomy. Agents don't just wait for you, they actively pursue goals.
So how do they think? It's a simple loop, really. They observe, decide, and then they act.
Okay, enough with the theory. Let's see this in action with a real-world example.
It all starts the moment a potential client fills out a contact form on your website.
And instantly, the agent analyzes that lead's data. It figures out their potential value.
From there, it decides the best action to take. Maybe it prioritizes this as a hot lead.
Then it acts, sending a personalized email, updating your CRM, and alerting the sales team.
And here's the really cool part. It learns from every interaction, constantly improving its approach.
Now you can apply this logic to all sorts of CPIN activities, like member onboarding.
Okay, this is powerful stuff for sure, but it's not a magic bullet. Let's be real about this. Look, agents can make mistakes, so they need human oversight. They execute, but you drive the strategy.
So the bottom line is this. Success comes from thoughtful implementation, not just plugging it in.
So what's the big takeaway here? For CPIN, the strategic opportunity is absolutely massive.
If you jump on this early, you'll get a massive productivity boost and a real competitive edge.
So the real question is, will your organization lead or will it follow? It's time to decide.
All right. And so with that, I'm going to just go over a short presentation, and then we're going to have a discussion about the AI agents. So autonomous AI agents 101, what are they and why, as members of the closed private investment network, should we care? So just a quick definition of what artificial intelligence is. It's simply software that learns patterns from data and then uses those patterns to make decisions or predictions. So think of it like a digital assistant, right? And so we've got examples of how we already use these. And AI has actually been around for a while. So recommendation engines like Netflix, Amazon, and Spotify as a form of AI, and then voice assistants like Siri, Alexa, and Google Assistant. And then, of course, we've got chatbots like OpenAI, OpenAI's ChatGPT, and Claude and Perplexity. So what is an AI agent though? So an AI agent is different. So think of it as a digital worker that can actually perform tasks on your behalf. And it does three things. It observes, so it gathers and monitors information. It then analyzes and makes decisions, and then it acts based on that information. So, unlike basic AI tools that only respond to direct commands, an AI agent actually takes action on its own based on the goals that you set. So, what makes the AI agent autonomous? So, it works without constant supervision. So, it can run in the background, handling routine tasks. It follows goals. You rather than telling it how to perform a specific task, you give it objectives, you give it boundaries, and then it figures out the best way to execute. And then it adjusts based on results. So it learns based on the outcomes, and then it improves its approach. One thing that's very important, though, is that the human still controls strategy. So autonomy means operational independence, but not strategic independence. So, for example, you can tell an agent increase qualified leads by 20%, and then it'll go and it'll test different approaches, strategies, and it'll optimize on its own. But you still stay in control. You review the progress, adjust goals, and you can pause the agent at any time. So let's look at a simple real world example. So let's say you've got a website and a new lead fills out a contact form. And so you've set it up for the agent to analyze the information in the lead. And then based on that, it prioritizes and assigns a value to that lead. And based on the value of that lead, it will then take specific actions. It might send a personalized email response. It will automatically add it to the CRM. It may schedule follow-up reminders with the sales teams. And if it's a hot lead, it may send a message out to the sales team leader, informing them of this hot lead. um, and so then it'll track which emails get responses, then it'll automatically refine messaging for better results. And so traditionally, this would have been someone looking at the contact form, adding the contact to the CRM, sending out an email, adding it to the calendar for a reminder for follow-up. But all of this now can be done automatically, saving a lot of time. Now, how are they built? So here's a high level overview. So you have the AI brain. This is the core intelligence that processes information. Think of it as the cognitive engine. Then you have the memory. This stores past interactions, preferences, and outcomes. This is what enables the agent to learn. And then you give it access to tools. These are external systems that the agent can use. Access to email, spreadsheets, databases, and then APIs, which are connections to other computer systems. And you set rules and goals. These are the boundaries and the objectives that you set. And so the brain uses memory to inform decisions. It accesses tools to take actions, all while following your rules and the goals that you set up. So I'm going to give you some examples of how the Closed Private Investment Network, CPIN, is looking to use agents. So we're looking to implement it with member onboarding to automatically welcome new members, send orientation materials, schedule follow-up calls if that's what the new member requests, and to ask common questions. We're also looking to set up to where it can do deal screening, where we feed it investment opportunities, and then it reviews those investment opportunities against set criteria. It'll go out, gather data, and then it can rank that data, whether it recommends the deal to be presented to members or doesn't recommend the deal. Marketing automation, managing email campaigns, social media posts, event promotions, member communications on schedule, creating educational content, tracking member progress, and personalizing content recommendations. Then, of course, there's data analysis. So here are the benefits that the CPN members get. It will save time by allowing you to automate repetitive tasks. So, for example, if as part of your morning routine, you screen all of your emails and you're looking for the ones that are the most time sensitive, the most urgent, you can set up an agent to do that on your behalf, to flag the emails that it thinks that it's most urgent, and then to give you a summary of those emails. It can also look at your calendar, and based on the information and the tools that you tie it to, it can automatically schedule time on your calendar for you to perform certain tasks. And so this allows you to focus on high value activities like relationship building and making strategic decisions, rather than the grinding activities that we all have to do day to day. It can definitely reduce labor costs. So I gave you the example of creating an agent to handle when someone fills out a contact form. And so that reduces either the labor that you would spend doing it or the labor that you would pay somebody else to do. And the thing is these agents don't get tired. They work 24/7. They don't need any breaks. They don't need any vacations. They don't complain. And so we're already starting to see, because 2026 is really the first year of helpful AI agents. When AI first debuted 3 years ago with ChatGPT, it was forecasted that AI would go through 3 skill levels. So the first was the chatbot, where you can ask it a question, it can give you an answer, it can do research, and it basically responds to a prompt. The second phase is what we're entering now, which is the agentic phase. This is where you, instead of giving it specific tasks to complete, you give it a goal and it figures out the best way to do it, and it learns. And that leads to the third, which is the recursive AI. AI that learns from what it does and is able to not only improve itself, but to start making recommendations for new goals and to, according to how much freedom that you give it, it can start working on new goals without your interaction. And so we're already seeing some companies starting to reduce labor. As well, it allows you to scale operations. So I think it's Axios company I saw report that they have reduced their labor costs by 30%, and they've increased their productivity by 2 to 3 times. So they've scaled operations while reducing labor costs. Um, and so those are the two biggest benefits. It also improves consistency because you get uniform quality. And again, it increases speed, especially if you use agentic AI for any type of software development. It's tremendous. If you are into building apps that used to take a team of 3 or 4 people months to create an MVP, um, agentic AI can literally build an MVP level app um, within 10 or 15 minutes. I did it the other day for the nonprofit that I'm associated with. So, and again, this is just the beginning of the agentic AI phase. Now, what are the risks? So the risk is that AI can make errors. It can misinterpret data. It can make incorrect decisions, especially in more difficult situations. So when you're rolling out agentic AI, you want to give it goals that are simple, that are low level, until it gets the hang of your operations or the way that you do things before you give it more difficult tasks. It still requires oversight. There was a story about an exec, I think it was at OpenAI, who created an agent to go through her email and to find email that she no longer needed and to recommend emails that needed to be deleted. And um, there was an error in running the AI agent, and then it automatically started deleting emails. And the only way that she could stop it is that she had to physically go to the computer that the agent was being hosted on and to turn the computer off. Um, and so um, you still have to be, again, careful with the level of responsibility that you give these agents. Data privacy. So when you're creating agents and they have access to sensitive information, you want to make sure that you've got proper security. There's been stories about Cloudbot, which is a agentic AI service that you can download to your computer. You give it access to the systems on your computer, and then it performs work. And you can connect it to tools, these other systems that are created by other software developers in order to perform tasks. Well, they found out that some of those tools were malicious and embedded malicious code through Cloudbot onto people's computers and was taking their data. So proper security is extremely important. And it's not a leadership replacement, at least not yet. So the bottom line is that the AI agents are powerful tools, but they're not magic solutions. You got to have thoughtful implementation. So this is a strategic opportunity for CPIN. productivity multiplier. It's going to give us a competitive advantage because those who implement agentic AI will have the advantage over those who don't. Um, and though it's moving at the speed of light and seems like on a daily basis, there is something new. Um, you got to try to keep up. You don't want to be left behind. Um, and this is now where AI is not just a fun thing to experiment with, it's infrastructure. Um, so it's going to be like um, in the early 2000s, if you were a business and you were thinking about getting a website because websites were new, but you didn't know how you were going to use a website. Well, flash forward 25 years and a business without a website sounds crazy. And so it's going to be like that with using agentic AI, only it's not going to take, 25 years. This is the year where you need to learn how to use agentic AI, but learn how to use it safely. And with that, that is the presentation. And so I'm going to open up the floor up to have a discussion. And I'm curious of if there's anybody in the audience that has actually started using um, any AI agents. If so, please unmute yourself and tell us what your experience is.
Well, good evening, Michael, and everyone else. This is Lori Calkins. And yes, I do use AI. As a matter of fact, when I was revamping my business plan, I was using it to help me identify things like Chat GPT, and or Gemini. And today I was also using ChatGPT to help me with my ancestry search. So it forms things in a manner that helps me to lays out a nice um, guideline of plans for me. So that's what I like about it thus far.
Okay, so that's the traditional use of AI, where you give it a task, right? Help build a business plan, and then it goes out, it does work, and then it comes back and it presents the work. But the agent takes it a step further, and so and it's really good with repetitive tasks um, or where you would say, um, monitor my social media posts and um, provide automatic replies to any comments that I get, right? You set up an agent to do that, and then you give it the tools and the access to be able to post to your social media accounts on your behalf. Um, or you may say, generate a marketing campaign, and that involves social media posts, and then actually um, create the post and post to Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn for the next 7 days. And then it automatically, on its own, will figure out what's the best time to post, and it'll create the content. Now, If you create that type of bot, I'd recommend that you would review the posts first, right? You have it generate the post and have it presented to you, get your approval, and then it can automatically post. Um, but that's the next level. That's the agentic part where it's an agent, where it's doing work on your behalf. Is there anybody else that has created an agent? Um, what about you, Chuck? I know that you're, you know, always on top of the AI field. What's been your experience, Chuck, with agentic AI?
Hey, brother Michael, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So, yeah, I've been building some agents here. As you know, I have a AI platform that we actually developed, and I've got some AI tools for business at Wugentive, and I've probably built about 60 or 70 agent bots at this point. But shameless plug, I actually, have a service that we allow people to come on and build their own agents or integrate voice agents or conversational agents through some of our business CRM solutions. Wasn't prepared. I'd love to get back on with you and actually do some demonstrations and kind of share some things, but everything that you said, I'm in agreement with. You have to be very careful in terms of your information, but you're absolutely right. You've got to learn this or kind of get left behind. Some of the agents that I've actually built, other than voice agents, we've got a holistic agent that can talk about medicine and herbs and things along those lines. And then we've built agents that can generate ideas, business ideas. So yeah, I'll answer any questions you have, but we've been building agents now for a little over a year and a half now. So, but I'd love to come back on. Maybe we can do a demonstration or so. It's easier to show people what we can do. Um, managing social media, managing our websites, turning our websites into smart websites. So yeah, I'll throw it back to you if you have some questions.
Yeah, and so didn't mean to put you on the spot, but I do know that you're deeply involved in this, and 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 Chuck's company is a great example of using a third party in order to get comfortable with AI agents, because it can be a little overwhelming if you aren't into building agents and that type of stuff. Though the rate at which the software is being developed and deployed, it's getting easier and easier almost on a daily basis, um, to where you don't need to know any coding. Um, so when it comes to like building apps, for example, there are services that you can use. Actually, probably the one that's most well known is Claude and Claude Code, which allows you to code and develop apps um, using vibe coding. Vibe coding is where you don't know any coding at all, but you use the AI and you give it instructions, you tell it what you want, and then it develops it for you. I've been vibe coding for a few months. Um, I use an IDE, and I don't know what the initials stand for, um, but I use a piece of software called Cursor, which is really for developers, to help developers code faster. Now, I'm not a coder, but I am technically inclined, um, very um, detail oriented. And so I learned how to use Claude, and I've been vibe coding for the last several months. Developed a couple of full service apps that connect to other services, to databases, authentication, and those type of things. And um, and the apps that I built would typically take a team of 3 or 4 people a couple of months um, to do and to generate at an MVP. With me vibe coding by myself, I cut that down to weeks and then to days. But I can tell you, I used Claude. I used regular Claude um, and gave it a single prompt, and it was like 1 or 2 sentences, and to develop an app for a nonprofit I'm associated with, the Black History Foundation. And the important thing is I fed it information about the Black History Foundation. I gave it the website, I uploaded a bunch of documents, so it had context. That's an important thing, is context. And then, so I gave it a bunch of context, told it in 1 or 2 sentences what the app that I wanted it to develop, and literally in 15 minutes, it gave me an app that was 80% MVP level. And I was blown away. And that was my first time using it. So you can imagine, as you become more familiar and more used to using it, how powerful these agents can be. And they just get more powerful on a daily basis. Um, and so, but I don't want to do all of the talking. Um, let's see. Mark, tell us about your experience in dealing with AI agents with your company and a third party.
Haven't built, I haven't moved into the agentic agent space yet, and that's just knowing that I'm gonna need to carve out a weekend to go down the path at the level I want to. But I'm all in. Been following the space. Probably consume about 45 minutes or hour content a day right now around the developments with now OpenClaw and some of the other to your point you made to me a week or so ago, the other developments, and getting up to speed on the security concerns, et cetera, and then getting a good sense of what the options are. I think what I'm going to do is go with a lightweight virtual option, um, and spin something up that has its own presence in my ecosystem, and just give it access to as an employee or somebody within our ecosystem, and no master account level, and see how that goes. I see it for me. To this point, AI has been a force multiplier for me just in general, particularly around the 2 areas. One in enhancing the business model, presentation of the business, and now business docs. I was just turned on to a platform called Gamma, and I just produced the best deck I've ever done, and I've got a couple of people like, man, that's a great deck. So, and then also more confidence in the business, no backboard basketball league, our positioning, et cetera, understanding that, all the AI for us that use it know that it gives you honest feedback. I know I got a winner. I'm just a disruptor, and therefore you have to deal with the market pressures or resistance of being a disruptor because you come to take someone else's lunch that they're currently eating. So I'm all in. I just need to carve the time out to do some hands-on stuff. But I plan on updating my business plan to incorporate an AI agentic layer in our business. So I'll have a replicant myself, and then they will run our team of agents, and we'll always have a human in the loop infrastructure. But I see that as a force multiplier for me. To your point, the administration, calendar, emails, prospecting, identifying leads for sponsors, et cetera, et cetera. I don't need to go down the list. You guys get it. But that's what I'm leaning into. And I'm excited to start testing it on a small level. And then hopefully by June, I'm comfortable enough, or I brought someone in that I trust that could help me accelerate the implementation of those tools on our end.
So, but Mark, talk about the company that you're looking at partnering with
Oh,
that
Big B.
uses, yeah, that uses
Yeah, that is. Um, so I have a partnership with a company, Big B AI. They are an AI empowered streaming platform, all in one, really. And they just signed. I'm under non-disclosure, so I can't necessarily speak to all their business, but they just signed a major one of the major sports conference. So their platform has passed the institutional due diligence. They're on ramping it. And what this is going to allow us to do is to be able to engage. So when someone lands on our page, they'll have an option for your traditional or the AI interface. And then that AI interface will be able to provide that concierge service to them to, in theory, provide better engagement, conversion, but also capture all that data. And then within the platform, they have different agents. So they have a fan agent, content agent. You have your e-commerce agent. So similar to the way I see structure in our business, where we have an executive replicant and then agents with specific lanes in the business executing those tasks. This does the same thing for the media platform, and it provides us with that real-time data so that we can do tweaks in real time. And they're getting to the point now that they are building out a fast option, OTT fast television option, 24-hour persistent over the top television with ad insertion, where that ad insertion will be real time and based upon that particular individual and what information they know about that individual to deliver that specific ad on time. So that's the type of stuff they're building. For us, we've high sense of urgency to ramp so we can get on the platform, start leveraging the content. Because again, I believe the AI one is a force multiplier, but in our case, is going to allow us to create multiple moats, but also a data moat, because that data is going to allow us to truly understand our audience, therefore deliver what they want, therefore build that loyalty and increase the value of that audience to sponsor or prospective brands.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
And Tim, I see that you unmuted. What you guys say about this topic?
Couple of things. One, first of all, I got into the AI game and stuff, and the company of AI and come to this business with the network here because of Chuck Wu. He's the one that put me into both things that have led to some interesting results. Now, first of all, this is still Black History Month, and people need to research the name David Blackwell. David
Mhm.
Blackwell is the black father, the father of AI. The brother actually did this. He got the Medal of Honor from Obama and everything to acknowledge this. But David Blackwell started this thing. In fact, NVIDIA's biggest chip and most advanced chip is called the Blackwell chip. So they have that. Right now, what happened with me now? Normally, what I use, I have my. I guess I get it. I don't build agents. I don't know that stuff. I'm a lawyer. Um, but when I started going out here and using the different research tools, I created my own structure of what I want to see. So it goes out and gets things from the from certain agencies that I want to get from the government. So every day it's popping up stuff for me. It does the research for me, so I don't have to do it. It goes out and pulls that particular information in. I can see what I want to see, and it scans through it. So it's really very helpful for that. It takes a lot of time away. It takes a lot of my time off. I also do it to look at and target public companies to see if they reach certain criteria that I'm looking for. I'm particularly interested in takeover opportunities and if they meet certain things. So I don't, I can't sit up there and go through all of the numbers of every company, but the AI can do it for me. Now, for social media type stuff, I only recently got involved I'm on the board of two private companies, excuse me, two nonprofits. And one nonprofit is tied to our company, but the other nonprofit isn't. So we just got a situation where we created a relationship with Sprout Social. And Sprout Social, man, they can do it all. They do everything you need to do to be able to get all the intelligence on what's happening, on who's looking at your stuff on social media everywhere. And they can release stuff on a timely basis anywhere in the world. So if you're doing like we're planning to do some things with asynchronous information, asynchronous learning, well, it can produce it so it can drop it in the market you want to drop it into. I don't care whether it's in Kabul, Afghanistan, or in Canada. You can drop it at the right time, the right place, according to all the things of the sensibilities and information that you can get about the particular that you targeted on the people that you want to have this information go to. It's outstanding. I just got into it within 2 months, and Sprout Social cuts through all of it. As a nonprofit, you get a lower cost. A for-profit, you get a big hit. So it's a big hit, but it's still, and it's headed by a brother. The
Hmm.
CEO is a brother. In fact, they had their earnings call today. I was on the earnings call. They had their earnings call today, and I'm looking at the company for other reasons. But so yeah, it works good. One thing about this Claude stuff, it's owned by Anthropic developed it. Got to check and see what happens tomorrow because Peak Hegseth giving Anthropic until tomorrow, or they to take the guardrails off the company, so that they can eliminate all the AI biases that has been blocked, and so that the Pentagon can use Claude the way they want to. They use Claude in the location and capture of Maduro in Venezuela, and Hegseth wants him to take the guardrails off because they want autonomous targeting to kill, autonomous
So,
killing, and
so, Anthropic responded today and said that they are not going to
yeah,
take the guardrails off.
I saw that too. But the thing is that he has the right under the Defense Production Act to go in and seize them and seize the model and make the model happen. And let me tell you, he can do it, and he will do it, um, or he'll turn them around and say you're part of a blacklist with the government, so we won't give
Right.
you any money. And because they already got Elon Musk in the background with his own connection to be able to come in and put something together to do this optics things, and they can also turn to the other brother out there, uh, you know, who's doing his
Okay.
thing with Palantir. So with Alex Karp. So it's not like they can't get it, but uh, I think I think they're going to snatch Claude and snatch it into the government because they used it too well and too effectively with Maduro, and he wants to be able to kill people, and he wants to be able to do his thing to target people in a mass way. I mean, that's the game plan. So he wants the AI to be able to do that for him. That's a dangerous, dangerous thing we're into.
Yeah.
OpenAI, and OpenAI, I got rid of OpenAI last month because they deliberately give all of their stuff directly to the government for this kind of activity. And so I got rid of that situation with them. I prefer using for research and stuff Perplexity Gemini for the light stuff, Perplexity and Copilot, because Copilot works with your with your easy stuff. It's easy to put stuff together with your decks and things like this. And also I use other things for for videos and stuff like this. Anyway, I just say be careful, be careful as we develop this stuff. Now for basic agents, every day, hey, you need to talk to a guy like Chuck Wu because he knows how to put that together. He knows how to find the resources and put all the people together. So he's the greatest guy. You need to put a session on just with Chuck Wu to do this because he really can do it. I mean, he really can. And so take a look at protect yourself. Watch out who you do it with and how you do it and where your information goes.
Yeah, and this is just a general introduction to agentic AI, because like I said, 2026 is really the coming out year for agentic AI. They've been talking about the functionality and what it would be able to do, but 2026 is really the beginning of where you're seeing the fruit of the efforts of agentic AI. And man, yeah. So like any other tool, it can be used for good or evil. And it's like fire, right? It could be used to to um, to cast steel, or it could be used to burn the house down. Um, and so and with the government that we are currently under, um, nothing surprises me. And um, and so we just all have to be aware. We have to be conscious, um, and more than anything, we have to learn. And this is the number one reason why we're having these discussions is to help people learn. Um, James, Leroy, um, Mora, you guys have anything you want to add?
I am glad to be back on. I had to jump off for another call, and I discovered one of my friends was going to do a speech. I didn't realize he wanted me to buy a ticket to hear him speak. So I jumped back on this call. Look, this is a very, very good topic. I was on a call Tuesday with they talked about agentic AI, and I am very, very interested in the subject, and I think all of us in some way or other would be interested in it because the fact of the matter is that things are moving very, very fast. And the world that we operated in 3 years ago and 5 years ago is it you know it's becoming a jungle compared to where we're going now. So even though I am at that age of almost 75, I'm gonna get on this wave and I'm going to ride it, and I'm going to have me an agent or something. I really need one right now for what I've already produced with trading. Of course, I have a trading bot, but I have a special something that I've developed, and I really the continuous looking at, generating, observing, and looking at all of these things that you talked about in terms of those steps are the things that I see that I need in 2026. I need to learn as much as I can, but I agree with Brother Tim that we do need to be as careful as we can, but we've got to keep our eyes open. We got to observe. We got to learn from each other. And so I'm looking forward to it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go go that far in conversation, but I'm very interested in the subject.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. James, Mora, have anything to say? Okay. I have added in the chat the link to Kimmy.com, and then Chuck has added the link to his website. And so what Kimmy does, it allows you to create autonomous agentic AI agents um, that are hosted on their web server. They provide the infrastructure and some security, um, but it allows you to actually create and use agents. And so, if you guys have heard of Cloudbot, um, Cloudbot is an open source software that you can download to your own computer. You can use it for free. It creates um, the bot, and you give it access to tools. Then it goes out and performs work. Um, and there are some security issues surrounding Cloudbot, though, and it's recommended that if you don't know how to set up and maintain your own server, it is recommended not to install and run Cloudbot on your own computer. Um, and even if you do know how to maintain a server and set it up security wise, it's recommended to set it up on its own separate computer and to give it limited access to tools. Um, and so it was a guy who over the weekend created Cloudbot, and then created a platform where the AI agents could meet and interact and talk with themselves, kind of like Reddit for bots. And that went crazy over a weekend. And then the next thing you know, the guy got scooped up by OpenAI and is now working for OpenAI. But um, but Cloudbot is still open source, and so you've got websites like Kimmy that have again taken the open source software and is making it available hosted on their web servers with some security. So that's a way to be introduced to um, if you want to create an agent that's totally under your control. Um, does anybody else have any other final comments before we wrap up this discussion?
I would still remind people that if you're doing research, and then research is not looking on Google or Gemini, I mean real professional research where you have to sell it to somebody, they're still focused on what's called peer-reviewed research, which means you can go out and get all the stuff from, like I do, Perplexity and three or four different search engines. Go out and find my stuff, and I ask them for give me peer-reviewed articles. But you better go check it. You better follow up and check it, because these things hallucinate and they give you the wrong information, and so you better go take a look at it before you go and put it into whatever report you're going to put it into. So I mean, that still happens even after all these years, these 3 years, it still happens. So peer-reviewed research is very important, because I have so many people, oh, I do my research. If it's not peer-reviewed, it's not research. It's just surfing. Okay, it's just surfing, because people who are going to pay you for that research want it to be peer reviewed. Now, this eventually will get away, but right now you still have to watch out for all the hallucinations that come up.
Very good comment. Leroy.
Yes, I wanted to ask a quick question. With BNIC CPN, as far as the autonomous AI agents, are you looking at creating that as one of the components of what BNIC offer? How you're looking at it?
Yeah, so we've actually have started um offering, so we created a couple of AI agents on the CPIN website. Um, and it's where it can assist you in creating um, personal financial plans. Um, it can also assist you in doing research, investment research. Um, and so we have started to roll those features out. The landscape is changing so fast that where we are constantly looking at what features can we use to enhance the member experience. So we'll be debuting those sometime next month on the website. Those features.
Okay, and I wanted to ask a question again of Tim. Um, you mentioned two um, sites, Sprout Social and Gemini, was it?
And also Copilot.
Copilot.
Copilot
Okay.
AI, I find that to be very effective and very good with almost no hallucinations. Now, I have to still check them because they've been following all of my prompts so long. And when you start putting so much in, you refine your prompts, then the AI starts to learn what you're looking for and starts to learn what you're doing. So I have to take whatever it produces for me, and I'll take that out and put it over in Perplexity and say, tell me what's wrong with this. Okay,
Hmm.
so okay, tell me why this won't work. Give me all the flaws. Give me the red flags. So I use Copilot to give me all the stuff that I want to design, and then I turn over to go to Perplexity and say, tell me what's wrong with this. And Perplexity will chew it all up, and sometimes they're wrong. Sometimes they're wrong. So sometimes there are things that are out here that none of these systems know. Um, I was taught a technique, a takeover technique called privately negotiated purchases. That's a whole nother thing I would talk about. But I was taught this by a man. He's gone now. He was an investment banker, and it hasn't been used in takeovers since about 1988. So when I put it into the systems, all of them, they had no idea what I was talking about. None of them. None of the AIs knew it because it's not used in the it's not been used since 1988. The whole technique, no one's used it. It's still effective, and I looked and checked all the laws around it, but it doesn't know. So you know, like I said, you get to know it, but these things get to learn your techniques. They learn from your prompts. They learn what you're looking for, and then they give you the suggestions that you need. I'm not a marketing guy, but my God, if you see the suggestions that it's given me on certain things for this nonprofit project, it's been phenomenal. I mean, it targeted every one of the donors, all just beautifully done. And then I take it from one, a co-pilot, and go right over to Perplexity and say, why doesn't will this work or not work? And he'll tell me why it won't work, or why it will work, and refine it. So uh, those are two. Those are two I use for heavy duty working. I use Gemini for a little lightweight stuff. You know, hey Gemini, if I win the lottery tonight, the Mega Millions, how much money can I keep, and how much money can I give to the nonprofit? Because under the big beautiful bill of Trump, you can take 60% of your income and give it tax free to your nonprofit. You don't control that money, but you give it to a nonprofit, and if you have something to do with the nonprofit, it can do what you want it to be done. I didn't know that. I learned that from AI. It's part of my process. So it started looking at what I was doing, and it started giving me suggestions. Anyway, I would suggest that, Leroy, especially as you start doing what you're doing with trading and learning about those companies. You need to have stuff that reflects you, so and it's all in the prompt.
Yeah, it is
Thank you.
definitely in the prompt, because and if you give it context, and the more that you use a model, and it has memory on the conversations that it's had with you, then that helps build its context with you. The one thing I like about Claude is that you can create projects. I think you can probably do this with all of them, but with Claude, it was very simple. So with the nonprofit that I'm associated with, I set up a project. I uploaded all of the relevant files regarding the incorporation, the 1023 form, the um, the 990, the strategic plan, all the information pertaining to the nonprofit. And then I just gave it a real simple prompt to create an app for the nonprofit. And like I said, in about 15 minutes, it came back with something that was 80% MVP level. And then I basically took that and put it into Cursor, and developed a true MVP level product in about an hour or so. Um, so it's always best to try a couple of different models, and like Tim said, to check them against each other. That's a really effective way. Um, Tawana, I want to welcome you. You're at the very end of our discussion. So, but I do want to recognize you. But we are getting ready to close out. And so hopefully you can join us in 2 weeks when we talk about another topic, how it affects the Black community economically. And so this has been Agentic AI 101, a basic overview and introductory discussion. And Chuck, I'm definitely going to connect with you so that we can come back and do a more in-depth conversation about the tools that you have to offer. And with that, everybody, have a blessed night and stay safe. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a great evening, everyone.